everybody, and I am back from watching the Black Panther. Oh my god, it is so amazing. It truly is. It's so good. While I was reviewing it and going through what happened in the movie again, I really could not find a fault. It really is such a good movie, and I just was glued to the screen for every second. I was just smiling or either crying from beginning to end. It was so good. Obviously, with the help of my trusty book, I will be reviewing the Black Panther. Starting off with the acting, overall the whole cast is such an amazing group of actors and actresses. I mean, when I watched the movie, I felt like I had met these characters before, and I just felt so familiar with them, and these actors and actresses need to be recognized for their amazing talent because all of them are just so incredible. Although the whole cast were incredible at representing each of their characters, I'm only going to pick the performances that I thought were absolutely the best and stuck with me the most. Starting off with Chadwick Boseman, who played T'Challa. He was incredible. As I've said before in many of my other videos, I'm a massive fan of his. I really am in awe of his performance in the Black Panther. In Civil War, we started off seeing T'Challa as this new figure to the Marvel Universe, but now he's stepped into the role of the King, and in this moment of time, we see T'Challa as a vulnerable man. We see him obviously having to handle death of his father, T'Chaka, while taking up the mantle of king in Wakanda, and also the role of the Black Panther and protecting this country. We see all these vulnerable moments throughout the film that I never really thought that they'd put in, and I think it's great that they do. And he's obviously trying to state that he understands that his role is incredibly tough, obviously, because he has the weight of being king and also the pressure of being the Black Panther at the same time. We see this kind of like accumulate until the point where he meets Killmonger, who ends up being another heir to the throne. We see him most vulnerable in this point because obviously he's just like, oh, there's someone else who's up for the throne. Someone else can take my place, and he's obviously scared that if he doesn't live up to that stature, he'll obviously let down his country. I think everybody can relate to that, but obviously not obviously having to lead a country, but in kind of like making others proud. So in any other case, it would be like making your parents proud. To the end of the film, we see, I'm not trying to give too much away, but I'm just going to say that T'Challa has to fight for his throne, but when he comes back to fight for it, we see that he has one goal, and he has a vision of what he wants, not only for himself as a man, but also for his country. He doesn't want this country to be in isolation anymore. He wants to reach out and help others, and this is seen at the end of the movie. Another performance that really caught my eye was Michael B. Jordan's as Killmonger. Obviously, we saw Michael B. Jordan in another Marvel film known as The Fantastic Four, and that didn't really lift off because it didn't really capture the audiences, but his performance as Killmonger really is so good. I love how this character is modern, but also follows the traditions of Wakanda, and it really is a really good performance by Michael B. Jordan. He made me laugh, he made me angry, he made me cry, and he overall as an antagonist in the film was just so good. I really thought that Claw would be the main antagonist, but he just really hit it out of the ballpark and was such a good villain. And his main goal is to follow in what his father did, to have Wakanda as the leading leader of all countries, so like an empire. I thought that this particular aspect touches upon history itself, for example colonization, and there are many references to colonization as well in this film, but I just thought this one was good. He delivers one of the best lines just before his character dies, and it is, "Bury me in the ocean with my ancestors that jumped from the ships because they knew death was better than bondage." I mean, I obviously love history, but that just really hits at home. I think it's just great that they're obviously looking towards those aspects of history, and it's something that's not talked about all the time. And also, they show a bit of the colonization, like the slavery and stuff, at the very beginning of the film, and I think that's very brave of them, especially with how big of a movie this is already. In the movie, we see a montage of how both men grew up, so we see T'Challa with his father growing up as a prince, and also the events of Civil War, And then with Killmonger, we see him as a little kid with his father, but also his death when T'Chaka killed his father. And we can see the similarities, but also the differences in how they affected each man. So with T'Challa, in a way, his father's death made him stronger, and in Civil War it made him seek revenge, but in the end it made him see that revenge isn't everything. But with Killmonger, it's very different. He is seeking revenge, but also he has an own mission that he wants to complete in the name of his father, but also for himself. He was comedic. It was great. Like, 1 minute he would be talking fluent Wakandan language or pure English, and then suddenly he'll just switch to the modern slang that is used in, like, obviously the western side of the world, and it was just hilarious, and I just loved it, just randomly, and the whole cinema laughed. It's great that they incorporated comedy, and I think that that started since Thor Ragnarok. I recently watched the movie, and I really think that comedy is so good in action films as well, and especially in Marvel as well, because many of the superheroes are very comedic, so I'm glad they've started to add that aspect in. Next is Danai Gurira, who's acted as Okoye, who is the general of the Dora Milaje. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but it's such a hard word to say, and I literally been looking all over the internet to see how people have been saying it, so that's how I'm saying it. This is another aspect that I absolutely love, the female power in this movie. It's so good, and I fell in love with the Dora Milaje straight away, and they're so cool, so awesome. Especially Okoye, she was such a great character. You could see there are just different layers to her. My favorite scene with her had to be the one in South Korea at the underground club where they obviously go to infiltrate Claw, and oh, her fight scene and the way she speaks to Nakia in that scene as well is just so great. And you obviously see the differences between them, because Nakia is a spy while Okoye is a general, and there are differences. Obviously spies blend in, and then obviously a general takes point and obviously leads people into battle, so it's great to see those differences in the characters as well. But that scene is my favorite, and her fight scene with the spear was just so good. Another favorite character of mine was Letitia Wright's Sheree. T'Challa's sister was so hilarious. From the very beginning to the very end was so good and very relatable as well. And also, like Killmonger, she's very modern, and just me and my friends just cracked up so many times, because obviously modern slang again, but also just like those things that just spark up in social media, like, what are those? Oh, it was so good, just randomly, and it was just so funny. And the way T'Challa also, like, acts with her as well, it's so good to see the interaction between them. And the relationship of T'Challa and Sheree as brother and sister is such a great relationship. How he respects her as, obviously she's an inventor, and her respect for him as a king, but also her love for him as a brother to protect him always. And she said this in an interview as well, his safekeeper, I think it was safekeeper? Yeah, safekeeper. And I think that's a great term to use, because Sheree is also not only providing the safety for the whole country, but also for her brother. You'll see what I mean when you go watch it, or if you've already watched it, you'll understand what I'm saying. Another performance which really shocked me, but was one of my favorites, was Winston Duke's M'Baku. I mean, that character was so good and such a show stealer, just from the very beginning at the coronation scene, and then in other scenes in the movie. So good, and also involving a bit of comedy later in the film. But also we see the variations of this leader. We see obviously him trying to take the throne, but then we see him trying to protect his people, and then working together with T'Challa and the Dora Milaje, and we just see that working together can effectively help everybody in a situation. And I just loved this character so much, but I don't want to give too much away about him, because it's just such a great character and a great performance by Winston Duke. I also wanted to touch upon the roles of Andy Serkis, who played Claw, and also Martin Freeman, who played Agent Ross. I expected them both to play bigger roles, but their roles were pretty small. But I absolutely love these two characters. I loved the way Andy Serkis played Claw. He was so funny, but also so psychotic as well in some scenes, and I just loved it. Because you didn't expect what was going to happen with what he would do, especially the scenes in the casino. Absolutely love those. With Agent Ross's character, they incorporated his past, so his experience as a flight pilot, as a young agent, came into this movie, and he was able to do that as well in the final fight. And I thought that was very interesting to see, because when that was brought up, he kind of was like, oh, okay. But when he got in the field, we could see he actually had a lot of ability as a pilot, so that was pretty cool, and I loved it. I'm going to move on to the world of Wakanda. Ryan Coogler has done such an amazing job bringing, obviously, this fictional world into life, and the architecture that they've used for these worlds are incredible. Not only the cities, but the afterlife world, which is shown 3 times in the movie, at T'Challa's coronation, Killmonger's coronation, and also another scene that involves T'Challa. There are variations between all 3 of them, and just each one are incredible. And I remember seeing it in the trailer, and I was just like, I'm getting the Lion King feels. Like, this is when, like, Simba sees Mufasa again, and I just loved it as well in the movie when they went into detail, and obviously we're in that world for a couple more minutes than obviously in the trailer. The city, the way it looks as well, is just, obviously they've mixed modern with the African culture, and I think it's great to see that type of combination. I loved it, and I just loved how, like, they based around technology, so with the trains, with the buildings as well, you see the big light. Also, along with the architecture, they've also created a fashion. I love different type of cultures and obviously the traditional ways that they follow, and I haven't really been able to delve into the African culture because I've never studied it before, but being able to see it through Black Panther was incredible, and seeing the different colors, the different fashion, like the mixture of modern and traditional, which we see through Sheree. Oh, another character is also Killmonger, who also is modern but also mixes it a little bit with traditional. But I particularly loved the clothes worn by Ramonda, which is T'Challa's mother. And the clothes that she wears, especially the dress, were just so beautiful to look at, and they were just so appealing on the eye. I just loved it. Now I'm going to be talking about the impact and influence it has on our society today. I mean, I really have been talking about this with a lot of people, and I've got to say, it seriously is time to show this movie. I've been waiting for it for so long, and I knew it had to come out when Marvel were obviously giving out the movies and stuff. I just knew that they had to bring Black Panther. It could have happened earlier, but at the same time, I'm really happy it came out at this point in time, because I think it's mostly needed now in any type of situation with colored people, but obviously it is based on African culture, but I think in any situation, any colored person can relate to this movie. I mean, I've loved Black Panther since I was young, and obviously reading the comics and stuff throughout my teenage years, but it has been such an influence to me because of the strength of the Black Panther, but also the other characters that are in it as well. And I think this can relate to anybody. I've seen so many people of the African community who have gone and watched it in traditional clothing, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And even like young girls, boys, little children, teenagers, all ages have gone and watched this movie and have been impacted by it. And I think this is important to be seen by society today, because I seriously think that this will also create a role model for people to follow, especially for younger children, for even teenagers, I think, because obviously there are teenagers obviously into the Marvel universe. So I think this is important for them as well. And even there are people on Instagram that I follow who are colored, and they dress up as the Black Panther, as Sheree, as the Dora Milaje, and it's great to see that. And I think obviously we get these characters who are obviously white, and they are seen as superheroes, example, Captain America, Thor, all those people, and obviously they are for all kids, they are for all audiences, but I think a character who is also colored is important for a colored community as well. I know this is a touchy subject, so I'm just trying to be really careful with what I say, but the overall fact that I'm just trying to put out is that this movie definitely is going to have an impact on people of all ages, and I'm so proud of how much success it already has made, but I definitely know that it's going to make even more in the coming weeks and months. Whoa, that was a mouthful. I don't usually go into speeches like that, but I feel like I just really wanted to do it with Black Panther, because Black Panther is such an amazing film and such an important film for this day and age. So that's why I kind of went into a little bit of a talk. So overall, I have to say that this movie is absolutely amazing. I really recommend that you all watch it. Thank you guys for watching my review of Black Panther. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, tell me what you guys thought about it in the comments. As I've said in previous videos, I'm still recording. I know you guys are probably tired of me doing these reviews, but I promise you my song will be released very, very soon. It is on the cusp of finishing, so I really I'm excited to share this with you, and I hope you guys are excited to see it as well. Again, I hope you guys liked this video, and Wakanda forever! Bye guys!